Hello, friends. If you are over 50 and you have ever tried to follow one of those phone privacy tutorials and could not find the setting they were pointing to, this video was made for you. There is nothing wrong with your phone, and you are not the only one. The truth is that the setting most of those videos point at keeps moving and getting renamed every time Apple or Google pushes out a major update. You open the Settings app, you scroll again. You do not see the exact words the video said, and you quietly close the app feeling like you must have done something wrong. You did not. The instructions were written for one version of one phone, and your phone is on a different one. Today, you are going to know exactly where the setting lives on your phone right now, what it should look like, and how to tell whether you are already protected. Plain English. With what Apple and Google's own support pages say. I am going to walk through this in a specific order. 7 small things to check. Counted down, I am holding the answer to the "where exactly is this setting" question until the very end. Quick context first. This video is made for people in the United States over 50 who carry their banking, their photos of grandchildren, and their personal contacts on a smartphone. I want to help you understand a handful of phone settings that genuinely confuse people because the names and locations have changed across versions. So you can see for yourself whether you are protected. Everything I share comes from publicly available information. Apple's official support pages, Google's official Android help pages, and the Supreme Court's unanimous Riley decision in 2014. I will name the source out loud as we go. This is educational content only, not personalized legal advice, not a promise of total protection. Because privacy is layered, and nothing on your phone is ever one switch away from being invincible, and absolutely not advice to obstruct any lawful investigation. For anything specific to your circumstances, please speak with a licensed attorney. Now, let us get into what actually matters. I have spent the last several days reading through Apple's and Google's own support pages, the actual text of the Supreme Court's Riley decision, and analysis from the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a well-known digital rights group. I'm not here to scare anyone. I am here to translate what those pages actually say into plain English. So the next time you open your phone, you know exactly what you are looking at. If you find these walkthroughs useful, the kind that respect your time and actually show you the path, subscribing keeps them coming. Quick question before we start. Have you ever opened your settings, tried to follow a privacy tutorial, got lost, and just quietly closed the app? Reply yes or no in the comments. Wait until number 2 on this countdown. That is the one most viewers under 60 get wrong. And it is a legal point, not a technical one. Once you hear it, the whole logic of how to lock your phone clicks into place. Number 7, the simplest one, and the one most people skip. Running an outdated operating system on your phone. Every few weeks, Apple and Google publish updates that close specific holes in the system. According to Apple's official support pages, security patches are part of nearly every update they release. The version of iOS you are running on the day you watch this matters more than almost any setting you could change. If your phone says an update is available and you have been putting it off, let it run tonight while you sleep. Plug it in. Leave it on a Wi-Fi network, and it will be done by morning. On Android, Google's official Android help pages walk through it under System and System Update. That is number 7. Number 5, trusting a factory reset to fully erase sensitive data. When people hand down an old phone to a grandchild or sell it, they hit the reset button and assume everything personal is gone. On a modern, encrypted phone, a factory reset is genuinely strong, but only when full device encryption has been turned on the entire time, which is the default on iPhones from the last several years and on most modern Android phones. Per Apple and Google's own documentation, reset alone, on an older device that was never encrypted, can leave data recoverable. Before you hand any old phone to anyone, check that encryption is on. Sign out of every account. Then reset. That is number 5. Number 2, and this is the one I told you to stay for. Using Face ID or fingerprint as your phone security, with no real backup passcode behind it. Here is what almost nobody explains clearly. Under the Fifth Amendment, the law generally treats your passcode as something you know. And the Supreme Court's Riley decision in 2014 confirmed that the contents of your phone are protected by the Fourth Amendment, requiring a warrant for police to search them. Lower courts have been split on a separate question, whether your face or fingerprint counts as something you know, or just something you are. The Electronic Frontier Foundation has written extensively about this. The short version is that in many places, biometric access is treated as a physical act, not a testimonial one. That is why a strong alphanumeric passcode, real letters mixed with numbers, is the most legally protective lock you can put on your phone. You can still use Face ID for everyday convenience. Just make sure there is a real passcode behind it. On the iPhone, pressing the side button 5 times in a row disables Face ID and forces the passcode. That is number 2. Quick check-in. Are you using a 6-digit code? A real alphanumeric passcode? Or just Face ID with nothing meaningful behind it? Reply 6. Letters. Or face in the comments. I want to see where this audience sits. Number 6. Leaving Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and AirDrop on all day, even when you are not actively using them. Each of those is a small open door. According to Apple's and Google's own support pages, you can turn them off in seconds from the control panel and turn them back on the moment you actually need them. This is not about paranoia. It is about not leaving doors open in rooms you are not in. That is number 6. Let me tell you about someone I will call Margaret. She is an illustrative composite, based on situations several of you have written about, not a real person. Margaret is 67, lives in Ohio, has an iPhone her son set up for her 3 years ago. She met a friend for lunch at a diner. She set her phone down on the table, slid out of the booth to give her friend a hug, came back 2 minutes later, and the phone was gone. The phone had been unlocked 5 minutes earlier. She did not know whether the person who picked it up could get into her banking app, her photos, or her email. She spent the rest of that day on the phone with her son, her bank, and Apple support. What stuck with me was that she wished she had known the day before what we are talking about right now. The setting, the passcode, the 5-button press. Not because she expected to lose her phone, but because the day she did, her phone would have been in the most protective state it could be in. That is why number 4 matters. Number 4, having USB debugging enabled on an Android phone without realizing it. USB debugging is a developer feature. It lets a computer connected to your phone communicate directly with the operating system, which is exactly what some forensic extraction tools rely on. Here is the good news, straight from Google's official Android help pages. If you have never enabled developer options on your Android phone, USB debugging is off, and that is the safe state. You do not need to enable a hidden menu just to verify it is off. If you have turned developer options on at some point, go to Settings, Developer Options, and check that USB debugging is off. That is number 4. Number 3, leaving your phone unlocked or recently unlocked within reach of strangers. According to Apple's official support pages, the protection most of those privacy videos talk about, called USB restricted mode, fully activates 1 full hour after the phone has been locked. Inside that hour, the USB port can still allow some kinds of data access. After the hour, the port becomes a charging port and nothing more. When you set your phone down at a restaurant, a waiting room, any public space, lock it, side button. Once, that single press starts the clock on every protection your phone has. Number 1. The one that has been confusing everyone in the comments of every privacy video on this topic on the iPhone. Here is exactly where to go. Open the Settings app, tap Face ID and passcode, or Touch ID and passcode if you are on an older model. Enter your passcode. Scroll down. You will see a section called Allow Access when locked. Inside that section is a toggle labeled USB Accessories. For the most protective setting, you want that toggle switched off. Off means the USB port stops, allowing data transfer 1 hour after the phone has been locked, per Apple's own documentation. Now, here is the part nobody is explaining. If you cannot find USB accessories exactly where I described, you are not broken. On certain iOS versions, Apple has tucked the toggle into a slightly different label. And on more recent versions, the protection itself is on by default. The absence of the toggle in that exact spot does not mean you are exposed. It means your phone may already be doing the work. Apple's official support pages are the place to verify the current behavior for your version. There is also a separate, more aggressive setting called Lockdown Mode, introduced in iOS 16, designed for people at unusually high risk. It exists under Settings, Privacy and Security. Lockdown Mode on Android. The equivalent is USB Debugging under Developer Options. If you've never touched Developer Options, you are already in the safe state. Quick recap. Fastest version, number 7. Update your operating system. Number 6. Turn off Bluetooth and Wi-Fi when you are not using them. Number 5. Encrypt before you reset. Number 4. USB debugging off or never enabled. Number 3. Lock your phone the moment you set it down. Number 2. Strong alphanumeric passcode behind your Face ID. Number 1. USB accessories toggle off under Face ID and passcode. Allow access when locked. On the iPhone. 3 things to do before you go to bed tonight. 3. Open the Settings app and verify the path I just described on your specific device, using what Apple's or Google's own support pages say is current for your version. Share this video with one family member over 60 who has a smartphone, the spouse, the brother-in-law, the daughter who keeps saying her phone is fine, 1. For anything specific to your legal situation. Speak with a licensed attorney in your state. This video is general information, not personalized advice. Who is the one person you are going to send this to? Your spouse? Your sister? Your son or daughter? Drop the relationship in the comments. That single share is how this kind of video reaches the people who need it most. If you missed exactly where the iPhone setting lives, the path is near the end of this video. Pause there. Next time, I'm going to walk through the first 10 minutes after a phone is lost or stolen. 5 things to do, in order, before you do anything else, because that is the situation most of you will face. Hello, friends. See you in the next one.